Do you approach music differently now? Because when you have a catalog or when you get older or when you experience other things in life and you kind of, write what life is about right now. So do you approach music differently now, Kehlani?
Definitely.
How so?
I'm just very different.
Yeah.
I went through a very long spiritual process, and even the last time I was here, I was very much fresh out of it. I actually might have still been in the tail end of it, and I think like it's been maybe six months
When
since.
you say spiritual process, is that something that you're purposely going through and
Yes.
you're going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's like an actual process. It isn't like, oh my God, I took some time off and I really focused
is that
on myself.
something you
and I
can
read
share
books.
with us? Like what that was about?
It is essentially a rebirth. It's a rebirthing period and a very serious time in my religion. I'm in an Afro-Cuban religion called La Regla de Ocha. And
okay, explain that to me as well, because you let that go like I'm supposed to just go, yeah.
it is derivative of the Yoruba people in West Africa.
Okay.
And it was brought to Cuba.
Okay.
And it's like kind of like the birth child of the West African religion and Catholicism.
How did you find that? Or how were you introduced?
It found me.
Okay, crazy.
It's funny because people approach me about it, years and years and years ago. Like, you don't even know. You have no idea that you had this energy of da-da-da-da.
Do you try to block that out first? Because
I just didn't know, and I didn't
okay.
feel like it was my place. I was like, then you enter it, you have a conversation with somebody, and they explain that the belief is that it's for everyone, and every single person, on this planet is derivative of one of the energies that we work with. And I ended up, coming to somewhere and coming to some amazing elders who actually revealed to me that I was on a really short path to, either losing everything I worked for or being sick or dying young or things like that. And I quickly got myself together, and now I'm a whole nother person.
Kehlani, a relatively known R&B singer and songwriter, was accused by her ex-husband, who also happens to be a guitarist, Javaughn Young White, of following a dangerous cult and harboring a dangerous environment for their young daughter, who was subsequently raised by this cult. The cult is accused of many horrible and deranged things, with one of the accusations being forced intimacy with young girls. Now, the question on all of your minds right now has to be, how could this have anything to do with mental health? I mean, a study about cult activity and how the human mind is compelled to either start or join a cult seems to be interesting for another time, but our focus for today would be on the condition that Kehlani suffers from that has led her to this path. It's her history of mental illnesses alongside her recent actions and religious beliefs that ended up giving her spiritual psychosis, a condition where the affected individual believes they are enlightened and has awakened to the truth of the world when they actually didn't and are suffering mentally. How did this take her to join a cult? What kind of religion is she following? What is spiritual psychosis and how dangerous is it really? Lots of questions and so many answers, so let us not waste any more of your time and get right into it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Masterpiece. Today we're diving into Kehlani and her spiritual psychosis condition, while not shying away from exploring her environment and how her mental health affected her life and got her to join a dangerous cult and religion. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or this is your first time here, I'm thrilled to have you join me. In this video, we'll be exploring its characteristics. Kehlani Ashley Parrish is, as stated before, a relatively known R&B and soul music singer and songwriter who was married to a guitarist by the name of Javaughn Young White, but broke it off shortly after the birth of their daughter in 2019. Her ex-husband is now accusing her of joining a dangerous cult and leaving Adea, their young daughter, in the care of the members of the cult. The cult is headed by a guy named Nato who controls a church in California that practices the religion of Santeria, a religion that allegedly worships demons and has other bizarre practices too many to go through for this video. All you need to know is that it mixes Catholicism with ancient African religions. Back to our topic, Young White accused the cult of being a sex cult and controlling all aspects of Kehlani's life, private and professional, including the upbringing of their daughter. So much so that this NATO fella banned Young White from seeing his daughter because he had visions about Young White being a danger to her and possibly killing her. Young White also claimed he found NATO performing religious ceremonies on his daughter, which involved him being alone with her in a room and Young White having to be restrained by members of the cult. Young White ended up walking back most of the claims here, but whether that is through him realizing he was fed misinformation or through scare tactics and threats from the church is a conclusion that is up for you to decide. But that brings us to Kehlani's mental conditions and her beliefs, how she got there, and how her mental state affected her. So, Kehlani talked about her history of mental illness, suffering from depression and ADHD, while also coming out recently and confirming she has bipolar disorder. All things which can and will directly affect someone and lead them to a path of false spirituality. Kehlani also talked extensively about her newfound faith in Santeria as a religion, and how she has very close relationships with the members of the church and Father Nato, who is the godfather of her daughter. So how did she reach that? Well, she had a history of smoking weed, but she stopped some time ago as an adult, and because she was pregnant. But that doesn't mean she stopped smoking altogether. She is now smoking lavender and lotus, with the latter possibly leading to psychoactive effects and an induced psychosis state.
This shit is a girl blunt. I only smoke girl blunts.
It is not out of the ordinary to think she was not in her best state of mind when making decisions about joining a dangerous cult like Santeria.
I had a conversation with a friend. She listens to Kehlani, and she told me about this. She told me about this interview Kehlani had with this certain religion that she's a part of, and I was like, I'm a nerd, I like studying witches and mediums and stuff like that. It's weird. So I was like, oh, what religion? Let me learn about it. And it was Santeria, the worship of the dead. And so I started
Lord
looking.
have mercy, that's dark.
No, it is. So I started to look at some of Kehlani's songs, and she has this song called Altar. And I looked at the lyrics, and I said, hey, friend, did you know that the first 4 lyrics is the description of a Santeria altar? But the way the song sounds, it sounds like a love song when it's a worship song to one of her ancestors. And she said, I go to sleep to that song.
E. coli virus.
That's what's happening.
Lord have mercy.
That's what's happening. You're listening to a song where she is worshiping the dead, aka demons. But it sound cool. It sound like pop. It sound exciting. It's demon worship.
Facts.com.
So
I remember.
we gotta stop making excuses for these people.
Point blank. Period.
Yeah, and I did it. I love Beyonce, but it's demon worship.
So as a part of, because you, girl, Lord have mercy.
I didn't think we would go here.
I am so glad we're here.
I'm thankful.
You can listen to Kehlani herself talking about her spiritual awakening and how the religion found her and how the elders brainwashed her mind about her life, taking the worst path without guidance from the religion, and how she possesses a different kind of energy that makes her suitable and perfect for this. It is textbook manipulation, and Kehlani's mental state and bipolar disorder allowed for that. It is a dangerous world out there, and people like Kehlani are easily preyed upon by malicious people and led down the most dangerous of paths. It is also good to recognize when you are actually enlightened and when you are just dealing with spiritual psychosis. Spiritual psychosis is a detachment from reality and a path to religious and awakening delusions. Stay safe out there. And there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay updated. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover next, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.